Today we're taking a classic and bringing it in to the modern age. It'll take what you know and love about this beloved franchise and also incorporate what it means to be a modern gaming experience. Without the microtransactions, because I didn't have time to write the code for that. Never mind that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dev Diary, a series where I try to make my own video games. And so yeah, if you enjoy game dev videos, consider subscribing to the channel and make sure notifications are turned on so you don't miss future videos. Now jokes aside, before we jump into the project, it should be noted that this game is meant to look a bit ugly. Now the whole premise was to parody poorly made reboots, but the visuals specifically were inspired by those reboots that, updated a game's visuals, but completely missed the mark. Like Bomberman Act Zero. So let's start with our hero, the Pac. And Pac is a rebel without a cause because they've got their tongue out. Now, unlike the Pac of old, the new Pac can move in any direction using WASD. Much like in the original, Pac can wrap around the level by leaving the screen in a direction. However, if there is a wall on the other end, Pac will be pushed back. And honestly, a lot of time was spent trying to make this work in a seamless fashion. But between the tile collisions being a little weird, and not really knowing how to do this any other way than literally teleporting the player, it wasn't the smoothest of executions. But it still works, and the player doesn't get stuck in the walls. Anyway, what would this game be without the ghosts? Cybernetic sentient goo monsters who want nothing but to destroy Pac. Because unlike Pac, the ghosts must travel in straight lines. Indeed, ghosts will simply patrol around the level, and when near enough will begin to chase Pac down. They'll attempt to hurt Pac by rubbing on him in a furious manner, poison skin or something, maybe it's a headbutt, I don't know. In order to combat these evil goo monsters, Pac must mobilize and collect boxes. A lot of boxes. See, it's kind of like if you enjoy my content, collecting support on Patreon is the best way to help me keep making it. Supporting me can get you access to exclusive content and downloads, and even early access to the weekly Dev Diary videos before they're released on YouTube. Anyway, like I was saying, scattered across the play area are either cardboard boxes or these fancy power-up boxes just begging to be collected. Collecting 10 cardboard boxes or a single power-up box will give the player a special ability, and there are 7 abilities to choose from, all of which were lovingly named as if they were tracks on a death metal album. Because when I think Pac-Man, I obviously think death metal. The first attack is called Circle of Pain. It's an AoE damaging circle that'll follow the player and will hurt any ghost caught in its radius. Attack number 2 is Triage. It heals the player. Not a very death metal name, I will admit, but our third attack is called Excretion. This attack will fire 3 projectiles, but all in random directions that the player does not have any control over. Attack number 4 is Activated Directives. Similar to the previous attack, this will also create projectiles, only these will hone in on nearby targets. Attack number 5 is Explosive Expulsion. It's an attack that creates an explosive little ally. They'll slowly make their way to a nearby ghost and detonate on contact. Or they'll simply walk around until their lifetime reaches 0 and then detonate. And thankfully the player cannot be hurt by the explosion. Attack number 6 is called Cross Annihilator. The attack will create a cross pattern of pain that'll damage any ghosts who find themselves within the pattern. And finally, we have the attack that gave players any way to fight back in the original Pac-Man, Vor. That's right, triggering this attack will turn all the ghosts into a pale white/blue color. It's during this period that we can assume that, just like in the original, coming in contact with the ghost means Pac is probably chowing down on some ghost goo. And as these attacks are acquired, they will show up on the right side of the screen. An icon and a name for the attacker provided, and a timer counts down the attack's duration. And yes, allow me to now confirm what some of you may have been thinking. This was, in fact, an attempt to mash up Pac-Man and Vampire Survivors. Another combo that I feel like should have been done by now. Anyway, much like the original Pac-Man, this is a score attack game, so just about everything that the player does will award them some points. Picking up boxes, and especially hurting and eliminating enemies. Ghosts who are eliminated are sent to the middle of the room and put on a brief cooldown before being released back into the world. For every 5 ghosts that are eliminated, a new one will be added to the world. And though it may be hard to tell, this was meant to slowly increase the game's difficulty over time. and generally speaking, the difficulty for this project could have definitely used some tweaking. Unfortunately, just this was a lot of work to get going, and so not everything could get the same amount of attention. It's kind of why the AoE attacks are just drawn shapes. The boxes also originally disappeared over time, but it all began to feel a bit too chaotic, so that feature was removed. So it does feel like this combo could work, but it needs like a lot of balancing and polish, which, I obviously didn't have the time to do. So what do you think? Do you agree that it could work, or is this pretty much its natural conclusion? And what would you do or add to make it work or improve it? As always, I'd love to hear from you, so be sure to leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. But with that said, brings us to the end of today's Dev Diary, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.